Wall Street Memes Casino,
I'm fine.
and Sportsbook.
Andrew McCart, IFL TV. I'm here in Edinburgh, mine and Josh's home city. Now, Josh, when you get a crowd like that at a press conference, I mean, we were half sort of Mel and everybody was half worried that because it was at 1:30, not many people would be there because they'd be on the work and they'd miss their lunch break. But I'll tell you what, that was some atmosphere just for a press conference.
Yeah, great turnout for given the time, you know. I think it's been quite conveniently planned to put on at 1:30 today to make out that no one wants to give a shit about me, and 5:30 tomorrow down in Manchester, you know. So, I just want to say thank you to everybody that turned out. That was a great turnout, and everybody about the messages of support and the lead up to it, saying they can't make it because of the work. So, yeah, a great turnout. So, yeah, thank you.
I mean, when we knew this press conference was going to happen, I think we were expecting what we just saw here. But for you, were you trying to be a little bit more calm? Because it seems like normally you forgive me for saying, Josh, you can be a little bit, do you know what I mean? But it seems like you're a wee bit more calm and collected in that press conference, and you said your piece. Was that a conscious decision to be like that?
No, I'm emotionally detached. I couldn't give a shit, you know. I know that guy, Jack, ain't got the brains to wind me up. He ain't got the brains to wind me up. You know, it's like he's said something today about a Hearts top or something like that. You know, he'd been better coming with a Formula 1 top on or something, because I'm more of a MotoGP fan or something rather than football. Do you know what I mean? It's like he's just not got the brains to wind me up. I couldn't give a shit about Jack or what he says. You know, it's like I'm just ready to fight now. I can't wait. It's been 2 years. I've been wanting to get this fight for 2 years. All this chat of me not wanting to fight and running away and ducking, and it's a lot of shit. Come on, I was the one that tried to make the fight straight away, relinquished my belts, 3 of my belts, and then I got the injury, which was a pretty bad injury, and then folks saying, I'm faking an injury and all that. I had to prove the medical proof of it. Jack's in interviews even admitting that it's a bad injury. You know, so it's like, it's a lot of shit. It's just, a lot of shit. You know, so the fight then couldn't happen. I feel I've explained this 500 times. You know, the fight couldn't then happen. Instead of Ben Shalom and Jack and that waiting to get the date rescheduled and locked in, they went and got Jack and locked in for another fight, which fell through. And then by that point, the WBO came in and like, well, you've not got a fight done, so here's your mandatory. You know, and it was the only belt I had left. So it was like, well, I ain't going to give this one up without a fight. Plus, it was a big fight. It was over in Madison Square Garden and a career high payday. So you have to be a fool not to do it or not to take it.
Sam said he's got you your career high payday.
Hey, that guy's the biggest slag in boxing. Don't listen to a word he says.
Well, I was the biggest slag in boxing, Josh.
Well, you're the close second behind you.
I thought he took my title there. I want to touch on a little bit on the contract stuff, and it was the fight being at 140 took me by surprise, because I've had conversations with you, and under your own admission in interviews, you've mentioned yourself, maybe I'm done at 140, maybe I need to go up to 147, my legs aren't quite there. Can I just get your thoughts on why you asked for 140?
Yeah, it was me that insisted on it. You know, I said, right, listen, all the attributes for the last fight. I've gave him the fight that he wanted, right? So the weight that he wanted. So if he wins, which he won't, he's high in the rankings at 140 to go and get a world title, right? I've given him a neutral venue. They obviously didn't want to come to Glasgow, so I was like, right, okay. They were talking about putting it on in London, and I'm like, well, why are you going to put it on in London? It doesn't make any sense to put on in London. It's a guy from the north of England and a guy from Scotland. Why the fuck are you going to put it on in London? It makes no sense. That means the people, the travelling support, who I'm thinking of as my friends and Jack's fans, is they've got it then turns into an expensive weekend. You know, they've got plane tickets, train tickets, hotels to book, you know, then tickets to buy before they've even bought a pint. It turns out an expensive weekend, and right now people can't afford to spend money. So I was like, no, why are we putting it down there? It needs to be in the north, England or Scotland or wherever, you know, but it needs to be in the north of the country for this fight to happen. It's 2 northern lads fighting, so it makes sense.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense when you explain it like that, because I think London is too far for the Scottish fans. You mentioned the tickets and stuff like that. But I'm going to ask this, Josh, being at 140 that you've insisted, do you feel like you can still perform down there?
Yep, absolutely. You know, obviously the last 2 performances weren't great, but the last one there was circumstances why the legs went. But I'm not going to say why in this, because then it's come out excuses and all that. T will beat your arse and all that shit. So I'm just not even going to bother wasting my time. But I've said to you off camera and on camera that I made the weight perfectly. I made the weight easy, and that's it. It's a different story for him. I know he struggles to make the weight.
The ring as well. You've asked for a bigger ring. Is that because you can use your feet a little bit more? Because I think that with your taekwondo background, I've seen you as a kid as well, that you do have good feet.
I think there's something they said about there was something about an 18 or 19 foot ring. I said, well, no, that's pretty small. I was kind of hoping to get the same size of the ring that's in the gym in the rotunda. It turns out that's only 19 foot ring or 18 foot ring. It's not an actual official size. So I was like, all right, okay, then we'll make it a 22 foot ring or a 20 foot ring, whatever. I'm not really fussed. Do you know what I mean? Like the ring, the size ring doesn't really matter. But you're wanting a big enough ring where you can move around. Not a tiny 16 foot ring or 18 foot ring, But see what happens. I'm not really bothered.
Jack said he's gone in this fight.
More my lawyer, Tom. just bringing up the options.
Well, he's done well up there against Sam Jones, didn't he?
He's on it, and he was actually, he's never been off the phone to my lawyer the last couple of days, and then he's going, I might get you to do some work for me, Tom, and all that. The fucking Sam Jones is a complete tosser. He's just an idiot. Two of them are two thickos together, man. Two planks.
I've got to ask as well, obviously, Jack's talking a game where he's going in there to knock you out and end your career.
Great.
Is that music to your ears?
Great. If that's what he wants to do, great, because he'll get taken out on a stretcher.
Do you want Jack to be more sort of aggressive towards you in that sense? Because you said there that he's more of a... what did you say up there at the press conference? Something along the lines that you smothered your own work, you were cuddling, you were 1-2 hold and stuff like that.
The game plan with him that last fight was to spoil and hold and suffocate my work. That was their game plan, and it didn't work. This time they have to do something different, and people are going to be aware of his tactics of the holding and the hugging. They're going to say he punched me about and all that, carry on, all these trolls. But that was his tactics, and it didn't work. The judges didn't like it, obviously. So, yeah, if it comes to fight this time, be more aggressive, brilliant. Because there's a lot of holes in that guy's game when he comes forward.
Do you feel in that sense that if he does be that little bit more aggressive, doesn't try and spoil your work in his work in your own words, do you feel like you can get Jack out there and stop him?
I'll knock him out. I'll knock him out if he does that.
Do you feel like you have to knock him out with all the stuff that's gone on these last 2 years? Because there's going to be the human element of it with the referee and the judges of what happened in the first fight. Do you feel like you're up against it?
No, really, but I do have a slight concern though, because of all the hysteria and all this robbery shout, that if it's a close fight, they're just going to give it to him because it's like it rights the wrong. So I hope the judges are fair and they're firm and strong like they were in the last fight, and they don't let all this noise influence their decision, and make sure they just score the fight accordingly.
That's what I mean. With that concern, do you have to approach this fight and maybe try and get a couple of knockdowns, maybe try and force the pressure a little bit more, maybe try and land clean shots? Do you feel that sort of pressure on you with this fight?
Not overly bothered about it, Andrew. I'm that confident in my ability and the way the fight's going to go that I'm not really bothered. So, but I do hope the judges are strong and they don't think about the last fight and all this shit. I just hope they just do their job professionally.
That being said, April 27th, 10 weeks away. You've got a little mini press tour. You're down in Manchester, I think on Wednesday. You're down in London for the TalkSport and all those sort of shows down there. So you've got a busy week. Back in camp Thursday?
Aye, that's it, obviously do a bit of training after this, and then travel down tomorrow, get a training session in tomorrow and do the press conference tomorrow, and then TalkSport on Wednesday. That'll be fun, and then back to the gym.
Josh, one final one. Like I said to you, this crowd in here tonight was absolutely unbelievable, man. Like I was half expecting it to be quiet just because of the timings with everybody at work and not being on the lunch break. But I tell you what, if you could bring a fight back to Edinburgh, and I've got to say it, can you imagine coming back home?
I know. I've been banging the drum for years to fight in Edinburgh. Obviously I did at the start of my career in the sort of slightly smaller venues, but there's no big venue in Edinburgh, so I'd love to fight back here at Easter Road or the Castle, which are two iconic venues, and keeping this football side of things out of it. You know, I'm just saying Easter Road because it's the team that I follow or the team that I go to watch when I go to watch the teams play. I hope all the bigotry stuff stays out of it. You know, it's purely an Edinburgh fighter, an Edinburgh man fighting in Edinburgh, and I'd love to fight in Edinburgh someday before I retire.
Josh, April 27th, I'm going to be there. I wasn't at the first fight with Jack, but I'm going to be at this one, and I'll see you there, my friend. See you soon. Thank you, Josh.
Wall Street Memes Casino
I'm fine.
and Sportsbook.